So this is the RLAARLO AK917, and unfortunately this thing has turned out to be a huge failure. Now I do want to say early on, this isn't an attack on RLAARLO, because I do like some of the stuff they do, but unfortunately the AK917 just hasn't delivered. Now some channels out there are saying this thing is the next best thing since sliced bread. Well, unfortunately that really isn't the case, and someone does have to tell the truth, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing in today's video. Now there really is no way to sugarcoat this. RLAARLO, you have up. Now if we go back to the start of the year, RLAARLO released an absolute beast of a 1/12 scale buggy. It was the AMX12, and even up until now I'm still recommending that thing because it is such a great little buggy. Now because the AMX12 was such a success for RLAARLO, this brought in lots of new customers. Now once this happened, obviously everyone at RLAARLO was smiling, and now they thought, well, let's release another new car. Now RLAARLO announced a brand new RC supercar, and it was going to be known as the AK917. Now this thing was promising speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour, pretty much out the box, with very minor modifications. So on the box, this thing is promising 120 kilometers per hour plus, but that's after you upgrade the gears and the electronic parts. And this is kind of like saying, you see my Ford Focus there, if you fit a larger turbo or a supercharger, this thing is going to do 200 miles per hour. Now I find this a bit of a joke because, to be honest, you could take any really good 1/10 scale platform and you could probably make it a 100 mile per hour car if you fit the right gearing and the right brushless system. And because of all this, it does kind of make the AK917 a bit pointless. Now the way RLAARLO sold this when they announced the car was the fact that this was going to be a 100 mile per hour plus ready to run RC car with very little modification. And I knew which way this was going to go. You do need to do quite a few mods to make this thing 100 mile per hour capable. And again, this is something you could do on any RC car. Now I'm sorry, but it just seems like RLAARLO were trying to sell us all a dream, and that's exactly what they managed to do. Now I know myself and the majority of people watching this video have probably never hit 100 miles per hour, which is why seeing the AK917 and all the promises they made, well, it sort of made it an achievable goal. Now let's talk about the hype that this thing generated then, because when it was announced, everyone went crazy. And I think the reason this thing gained so much popularity in such a short time was because of the speed claims. So let's talk about my experience with the RLAARLO AK917 then. Now when I got this, I went out and done the unboxing video. I was actually one of the first to actually get my hands on one of these. I then went out and did the 2S and 3S speed run, and unfortunately it crashed. Now when all the review samples were sent out to all the creators out there, RLAARLO made a huge mistake. So what did they do that was such a mistake, you may be wondering? Well, they zip tied the receiver antenna to the centre brace, and what this did was, it meant you were losing range. And that's exactly what happened to me. I went out and I was attempting a 3S speed run and I lost signal. And then the car crashed, and unfortunately it was all over. A lot of the channels out there who were sent review samples all had the same problem. I then made an order and ordered all the parts required to get the AK917 back on the road, and RLAARLO promised I'd be getting the parts needed really quickly. But unfortunately that didn't happen. Now a couple of months went by and I still didn't get the parts I needed, so I sent an email to RLAARLO asking them what was happening. They got back to me telling me that there was shipping issues and logistics problems. Well, I just don't think there's any excuse. I'm sorry, but it just shouldn't take 2 months for parts to turn up for any RC car. So instead of the parts that I needed actually turning up, they sent me a huge bag of upgrades. Now I think they sent out all these bits to all the other creators as well, but what was the point when I haven't actually got the bits I need to get the car back on the road? So as you can imagine, another email got sent off and I was asking RLAARLO, where are my spare parts? And they promised me that the spare parts that I ordered would be included in the upgrade shipment. And guess what? That didn't happen. Now the parts I originally ordered back in March did turn up within a week after I sent an email to RLAARLO, and I did get a very apologetic email from them saying that they're going to be doing things differently in the future. But look, I just don't have the motivation to do any content on this car now. I just feel like too much time has passed now, all the hype has died down, and it's just a bit pointless. Now I think the biggest disappointment is all the people out there who were looking to take part in the speedrun competition. A few of us left comments on their Facebook page saying, look, it should be postponed for a bit longer because so many people out there haven't even received their cars, and how do you expect people to take part in a speedrun competition if they don't even have the cars? And as you can imagine, imagine, there were a lot of comments from people saying how disappointed they were, and a lot of people were saying that all we ever see lately is a load of BS from RLAARLO, and I kind of agree. Now, I did check again this morning, and RLAARLO are posting all the promotional stuff, letting people know that the speedrun event is now going to be taking place in July, which is absolutely fine, but they also made a very bold statement, and they actually said all the orders on their system would be sent out by the 31st of May. And well, people have been leaving comments saying, I've checked my email inbox and I still haven't got a dispatched email. And again, another piece of advice for RLAARLO, I think the lies need to stop. Oh, this really has turned into a bit of a mess and a disaster, because this car did promise so much, it also had so much potential, but unfortunately it was just a massive letdown. Now, I think one of the reasons why a lot of people won't be entering the speedrun competition is because so many people are already achieving crazy speeds. We're talking 140 mile per hour plus. Well, that's going to be incredibly hard for people who haven't even received the car yet to actually achieve the same speeds. And that's because the people that do have their cars have had a couple of months to perfect their setups and to perfect the car. Yeah, I think it is a bit of a shame, because I really wanted to take part, but now I'm not going to bother. So there we go then, guys. That was my honest take on the RLAARLO AK917. And it's just a real shame that things haven't worked out the way RLAARLO wanted them to. Now, I do want to say once again, I'm not attacking RLAARLO, I'm purely speaking the truth. Now, I know a lot of people out there will agree with my video today, but there's also going to be a very small group of people who don't agree with me, and I will be accused of making a fuss. Now, I think it's just a little too late for RLAARLO now. I think they've lost a few too many of their loyal fans, and I think all of this could have been prevented. What they should have done was given people an affordable way to reach that 100 mile per hour top speed with very little modification. Or just give us a 100 mile per hour ready to run. And people will pay for something like that, because it is an achievable dream. Also, poor quality control at the beginning with the receiver issues. Again, if they spent some more time at the factory, well, they could have avoided it. I just want to say though, good luck to everyone taking part in the speedrun competition. I really do wish you all the best, but for me, well, I think that's pretty much going to be it on the AK917. You need to stop lying to people on Facebook, you need to get all of the orders out, and you need to start being honest with people. Cheers for watching, guys. See you on the next one. Take care.